Good day. On December 16, on the sidelines of the Ukrainian authorities, the following rumors, gossip, insiders and opinions were discussed. The Economist confirms information from political telegram channels that the office of the president is trying to replace Zelensky with Syrskyi. This is worrying senior Western military officials. A senior foreign military officer said that at best, this petty rivalry is a red herring. At worst, it could undermine Ukraine's unity and weaken the West's trust in its leaders. Inside. The source said that the air defense system failed to cope with the missile attack today, only 30% were able to shoot down. More than 60 missiles were launched across the territory of Ukraine, Yuriy Ignat, press secretary of the Air Force, said on the air of the telethon. According to him, Kh-555 and Kh-101 missiles were fired from Tu-95 aircraft. There are also launches of caliber from the Black Sea and S-300 missiles. Gossip. More and louder on the sidelines they are talking about the losses of the armed forces of Ukraine in Bakhmut. The battles have turned into a continuous Bakhmut meat grinder, where a soldier lives for no more than 2 weeks. If you manage to fight in Bakhmut for 2 weeks and not be wounded or killed, you are lucky, those who went through hell say. At night, incendiary shells often fly, which look more like a fiery rain, and tank battles are constantly here. Echelons of new soldiers go to the city, and caravans of wounded, killed and crippled soldiers go back. Even the office of the president stopped throwing in the message that there were no casualties, as they realized that this irritated not only civilians, but especially those who went through this meat grinder and remained alive. Already on the sidelines they began to talk softly about the retreat, but Bankovaya was against this decision, trying to restrain the pressure of the Russians by the number of infantry, because the APU is inferior to the Russians in the number of artillery involved. Zelensky wants to end the year on a victorious note of the Kharkov and Kherson case. The surrender of Bahmut will partially destroy the winning illusion. Gossip. The source reports that a quiet conflict or, in other words, distrust exists between Commander-in-Chief Zelensky and General Syrskyi, who is supported by the office of the president. He is trying to promote him in every possible way in order to replace Zelensky in the future. Because of this, there is a split in the general staff and among the officers. As the source explains, this harms the army, but absolute power is important for office workers, where there is only the hero Zelensky, and the rest simply play roles. The entire conflict was started by the office of the president and personally by the head of the office of the president, Yermak. Yermak has long wanted to merge Zelensky. The problem is that Zelensky is being pumped and lobbied by the Americans, who have warned the office of the president several times to stop intriguing. The source indicates that the situation will escalate closer to the elections and Yermak will definitely try to leak or frame Zelensky. Layout. Again strikes on the energy sector of Ukraine. This time more serious and bigger. Air defense failed to cope with missiles. Dynamics has increased. Many said that the Kremlin could be waiting for something, giving time to the office of the president. They also pointed out that Biden's call was not without reason and he warned Zelensky about the winter military campaign, but Vladimir Alexandrovich did not warn the Ukrainian people about this. Gossip. According to gossip, about 48 hits occurred on energy infrastructure facilities. Energy deficiency will hit the heating case. Possible pipe breaks in cities. Now the time and number of shutdowns will increase again. We warned you that you should be ready for this, since both sides are waging an infrastructure war, and people are suffering. What does the onset of an emergency in the energy sector mean? Due to damage to substations and generating capacities, it is not technically possible to provide electricity to more than 50% of the country's consumers, including critical infrastructure. That is, there is no way to either generate more energy or transport it, director of the Energy Research Center Kharchenko. There will be power outages. Gossip. Today's shelling of Ukraine's energy facilities has shown one thing: there is still a large